They told me that if I followed the rules, I'd be happy. They gave me a checklist when I was 20, handed to me alongside my diploma like a secret map to a treasure that everyone else seemed to have found. Get the degree, find the stable partner, buy the house with the yard, have the children, climb the ladder. They called it the family script. And like a good soldier, I followed every single instruction without ever asking who wrote the manual. I spent 25 years building a life that looked perfect on a Christmas card. I had the manicured lawn, the promotion that made my parents proud, and the quiet respect of my neighbors. But inside that house, and inside my own skin, I was slowly disappearing. I was becoming a ghost in my own hallway. By the time I hit my mid-40s, I realized something terrifying. I had built a masterpiece of a life, but I didn't want to live in it. It was like wearing a suit that was tailored for someone else. It looked great to the world, but it was suffocating me with every breath. If you've ever sat in your car for 10 extra minutes before walking into your own home, just to have a moment of silence. If you've ever looked at your perfect life and felt a strange, forbidden urge to just keep driving and never look back, this is for you. We need to talk about the lie we were sold, why the script is a trap, and why breaking it was the only way I could finally learn how to breathe. The problem with the family script is that it isn't designed for your individual joy. It's designed for social stability. Society needs us to be predictable. It needs us to be providers, caregivers, and reliable taxpayers, because that's what keeps the gears of the world turning. From the moment we can speak, we are conditioned to believe that self-sacrifice is the highest virtue, and that selfishness, defined as listening to your own soul, is the ultimate sin. I remember my 30s as a blur of high-functioning exhaustion. I thought that being tired was a badge of honor. I thought that having zero time for my own hobbies, my own thoughts, or even a simple walk alone was just the price of being a grown-up. We're taught to view our burnout as a sign of importance. If we aren't exhausted, are we even working hard enough? I was so busy maintaining the life I was supposed to have that I never stopped to ask if I actually liked the person I had become. We spend the best years of our lives building cages made of mortgages and social obligations, carefully selecting the color of the paint and the quality of the curtains, and then we wonder why we feel like we're running out of air. We didn't choose our lives. We inherited a blueprint that was drawn before we were even born. We are living out our parents' unfulfilled dreams or society's rigid expectations, all while our own true desires are buried under layers of shoulds and musts. What they don't tell you about doing everything right is the invisible cost. The cost is your identity. When your entire existence is defined by your roles, husband, wife, father, mother, employee, there is eventually nothing left of you when the lights go out. I became a master of the performance of self. I knew exactly how to act at the PTA meetings, how to sound confident in the boardroom, and how to be the rock for my family. But I remember sitting at my kitchen table at 11 p.m. one Tuesday, the house finally quiet, looking at the life I had created and feeling like an imposter. I loved my family deeply, but I hated the version of me I had to be to keep the machine running. I was the reliable one, the one who never complained, the one who always had the answer. But a nervous system can only carry a script it didn't write for so long. Eventually, the body begins to rebel. For some, it shows up as a sudden illness. For others, it's a chronic back pain that no doctor can explain, or a midlife crisis that people joke about, not realizing it's actually a soul trying to survive an avalanche. My 40s weren't ruined by failure. That's the irony. They were ruined by a success that didn't belong to me. I had won a race I never wanted to run, and the prize was a life that felt like a beautifully decorated waiting room. The breaking point is rarely a cinematic explosion. It's usually a quiet, devastating afternoon when the silence in the room becomes too loud to ignore. For me, it was the realization that I was living in a constant state of postponement. I was always waiting for my real life to start. I kept telling myself, Once the kids are in college, or once the mortgage is paid off, or once I get that final promotion, then I'll be happy. Then I'll travel. Then I'll finally be me. But life isn't what happens at the end of the script. Life is what happens while you're waiting for the script to end. I looked in the mirror and realized that the person staring back was a stranger. I had traded my spontaneity for security. I had traded my curiosity for comfort. And the worst part? I was teaching my children to do the same thing. I was showing them that the goal of life is to endure it, not to enjoy it. That was the day I stopped caring about being the hero of the story and started caring about being a human being. I realized that my children didn't need a perfect, exhausted provider who was always halfway in a spreadsheet. They needed a parent who was actually alive, a parent who could show them that it's okay to be imperfect, okay to change your mind, and okay to choose joy over obligation. Breaking the script is painful. Let's not romanticize it. It involves disappointing people who are invested in your old character. It involves people calling you selfish or irresponsible because you've decided to stop carrying their weight. But there is a massive, life-saving difference between being irresponsible and being responsible for your own soul. I had to let the perfect life die so that I could finally live a real one. If you're in your 40 seconds or 50 seconds and you feel that itch, that quiet, persistent feeling that you've been living someone else's dream, do not ignore it. That itch is the only part of you that is still awake. You don't necessarily have to quit your job or leave your family, but you do have to stop lying to yourself. The family script is a suggestion, not a law. You are allowed to renegotiate the terms. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to say no to the things that drain you so you can say yes to the things that make your heart beat again. I'm nearly 60 now. My life is much simpler. It's much smaller. To the outside world, I might look less successful than I was 10 years ago. I have a smaller house. I have a less impressive title. But when I wake up, the person in the mirror is someone I actually know, and for the first time, someone I actually like. I've traded the grand script for a series of small, honest moments. I've traded the checklist for the silence. And for the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for the end of the book. I'm inhabiting every single page. Don't wait until the final chapter to realize you were playing a character you didn't even like. Put down the checklist. Listen to the silence. And remember, the only life that is a mistake is the one you never truly lived. Thanks for watching.